I'm here with FunnyAstro directly after the match against the New York Excelsior. Not really a close one, but also not a perfect one. Can you walk us through the game, like how it went in your mind?
Um, I think first map was just, especially first round of Lijiang, we hadn't really practiced against Echo comps the same way that they were playing, and we just had to get used to it and adapt. So it took us a couple of rounds to adjust, but then going to I think especially Midtown and New Queen Street, we were like really well adjusted and we knew exactly how to win.
Is Echo something you had practiced against at all, or something that you were expecting from them?
Uh, Not really, no. I don't think many teams are playing Echo at the moment. Not sure why they're doing it, but it didn't seem that good.
What do you think generally is the meta? What is the composition that you think most teams are playing as like a baseline?
I think most teams are just going to be running like Lucio Ana, Genji Soldier, and then I think you can sort of change the tank depending on what style you want to play and what map it is. But I think that seems to be generally what people are picking at the moment. Of course, like a new patch came out today. I don't know when that kicks into Overwatch League, but that's going to mix things up.
For sure. Can you explain why you guys at points, and also I guess also your opponent, opted to play Tracer? It feels like she's not as strong as she was in Overwatch 1, especially like Soldier seems to be pretty strong at the moment. Like, how is Tracer
Yep.
relevant?
Um, I'm not exactly sure because I'm not a DPS player, but I think Tracer has a lot easier time staying alive than Genji in some of these comps, especially when there's like a Winston on the field. You can get focused down pretty hard as Genji, so Tracer just sort of avoids that. And if you're struggling to like find space or get in the enemy backline as Genji, just Tracer's easier.
How, like, I think you initially rolled out on Doom and then pretty quickly switched to Winston. Was that something that was planned, or like, were there even more compositions where you could have theoretically played Doom today?
Um, I mean, we've practiced pretty much everything. Uh, Sometimes it just depends on what mood Ryan is in as to what tank he picks, but yeah, I think today Doom's pretty hard against the Echo comps, in my opinion. Like you can't really do much against it, and it makes it hard for your backline when you don't have a bubble to play around. So I think Winston into that comp especially is just a lot stronger.
Right. Now, there were some interesting decisions, I assume, to be made in your DPS line because, like, of course, you have three world-class DPS players there. Their hero pools aren't necessarily decided, considering Patty and like Kevstar are super flexible. How do these guys hash out like who's playing what? Like, when did you hard like say, okay, you're playing X, Y, and Z, or is this sort of like a thing of the moment?
Uh, I mean, we've swapped it around a little bit. We've tried pretty much everything, and I guess what we bring to the match is what we're most confident on, and what our DPS players like feel really comfortable playing.
Right. You had a like a half switch, I guess. That also kept you being pretty much undefeated in terms of maps, but you switched out like half the team, right, for the third map. Was that
Yep.
something that was always planned?
Yeah, Circuit Royale, like just the way the map's made, I think it's pretty difficult to play Lucio comps on there. There's like a lot of long range sight lines, not many corners, not a lot of flanks that you can really take with like rush comps or these Winston comps. So it's hard to get in and hard to sort of counter the more Zenbap style. We've been pretty confident on Circuit Royale. I think today was just a blip or something.
Right. So, do you think it was just a coincidence that everyone got to play today, or was that an objective with that holistic switch?
We were planning on playing everyone for that map for
Right.
sure.
Right. Now, last season, I remember we talked to you, and you took great pride in having practiced a lot of Brig. Now you arguably have maybe the best Brig in the game on your team. Is there any chance you're going to play that character this season?
I mean, it depends on the meta, right? If there's a meta where you have to change between Brig and Lucio or Brig and Mercy and stuff like that, then I guess I'm more likely to play because I have the flexibility in that direction. But Skewed has the flexibility to like go from Brig to Zen or Ana, and his Brig. If it's just perma Brig, I expect him to play because he's incredible at that character.
For sure. How do you think of Lucio at the moment?
I think Lucio's really strong. I mean, I don't think he's broken. I just think every other support is pretty weak. I think like the big selling point of Lucio is he just doesn't die at the moment. There's always a way to survive in these fights, especially when it's a dive heavy meta at the moment.
Is it just like, let's say Lucio was going to be nerfed? Is it then just like double flex support at that point?
Depends how heavy he gets nerfed. I mean, he gets a small nerf in the recent patches. I don't think that'll change much. But the Zen buff and the Brig buff is more interesting. I think we could see it go to more of a like Zen heavy meta with Zen Brig, same sort of style that we've seen before.
Sure. How are you enjoying the game so far overall?
It's a lot of fun. I play a lot of quick play every day. I think DPS especially is a lot more fun in Overwatch 2. There's like just a lot less people in your way between killing people. Makes the game like a lot more mechanics focused, and I enjoy that.
For sure. What's the atmosphere in the team like? Is it fun as well?
Yeah, we have a lot of fun in scrims, even in the match today. It's a very fun environment. We're all joking around, having a good time.
Is it true that Rainer and Space had to be separated?
Separated?
As in, like, sitting next to each other because they were, like, having too much fun?
I don't know if Reiner and Space would be separated. It might have been Reiner and Unta having too much fun together.
For sure. So, I mean, you're having fun with the game. You're having fun as a team. You're playing very well. That sounds like the recipe for a good season. What do you think are your expectations?
Top 4, of course. Like, I think it's not really a question that we're in the top 4 at the moment, but I think the real test is going to come when we play like the matches after Boston. They're going to be a lot harder, and if we win those, then we can pretty comfortably say that I think we're going to be top 1 team.
For sure. And to refresh the viewers' minds, you're of course playing Dallas, you're playing Shock, and
Atlanta as well.
And Atlanta as well. Now, the Atlanta matchup, is that a special one for you?
We scrim those guys a lot. It's going to be a fun match. I like playing against those guys. They're down to have fun.
I was told you're not just liking to play against these guys, you also like playing with these guys. Is that also why it's special, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, we have Unta coming over from Coach from there last year. I think Reiner's pretty good friends. He was on 80 with OG and Ultraviolet, maybe. And then, of course, me coming from there. We have like a lot of people who are close friends with them. So it's going to be a fun little rivalry, I think.
For sure. I guess as a last question, given the, pretty competitive rest of the first tournament stage schedule, what do you think? What is a acceptable score for the Gladiators?
Ooh, maybe dropping 1 match. Anything worse than that, and we've made a big mistake somewhere. But I think we could drop 1 match in the rest of this stage.
Do you have a feeling which team will give you the most challenge?
I think it'll either be Dallas or Atlanta.
Right. Then we thank you for the interview and best of luck in the preparation for the game against Boston.
Thank you very much.